Good morning and welcome to Chase's Everything Shooting. Today we're going to be talking about the Dillon square deal, and it's a great little reloader, but some of the things that I feel you need and some of the things that you want, okay? And I'm going to go over what the needs are first, because I feel if you're ordering this that you should probably put the whole package together. I made a mistake and I didn't. And so hopefully I can help you rectify some of those issues. So the very first thing that I would say is that's a need is the case holder, okay? Now what happens is this moves over, and then the shell holder, the case holder goes here, and it makes it really easy for you to pick up the empty case and stick it in instead of going way down here or over here or whatever. And that was one of the things I ran across and I didn't like is that the time and how that worked. So that was my mistake and I should have done that, and I really feel it's definitely one of those things that I'm definitely going to order and put on here to help make this just a little bit better. Okay, then the other thing is the bullet tray. And the bullet tray goes over here on this side. And if you've looked at any of the 650s, the 750s, there's this little metal tray on the side that you put your bullets in. And the thing about this is that it keeps everything close. And so I'm going to say that's probably a very, very good thing to have. Now, I know that eBay has some upgrades on it, and they make a tray, a bullet tray, that's made out of plastic, and it bolts right on to your strong stand. You know what? Either way, I'm going to give you the option. You can look at that on eBay, go under Dillon and reloading on eBay, and that'll help you, give you a whole list of different things that people make for the different Dillon reloaders. So you can get either one. The Dillon is metal, the eBay is plastic, but you're going to pay the difference in costs there. So think about it. Probably I'll go with the Dillon, but you know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So that's one other item that we need. Then the other item is a cover. Okay. Now you can see from here and behind me this. I had my wife make those for me because I looked at the Dillon ones, and the Dillon ones are very, very nice, and they lock. But, you know, I could have these, my wife sew these for me, and literally for, you know, I'm going to say half or if not less the cost. Now, if I were in an area where I had kids still at home and all that kind of stuff, and that Dillon has a locking tool on theirs, yeah, I might do that because I want to keep my kids and stuff out of this. But other than that, I probably wouldn't. Now, I thought here, you know, well, I'm just going to get a pillowcase and drop it over. Now, I'll probably do that here real quick, but the pillowcase is usually cotton or something, and it kind of breathes a little bit too much. I want a canvas that kind of knocks out some of the sand and dust. I live in Texas and we have that very fine dust, and so that gets into everything. So I will definitely have my wife do something here for me. What we do is we measure it out, because I'll have the bullet extender, and we'll figure out what the diameter needs to be and then how tall it needs to be and go from there. So it's a really pretty quick thing to do. My wife did it last time. I think it took her maybe 30 minutes to sew this together. So hopefully when we go to make the one for this, I'll be able to video it and you'll be able to see how we do it. I'm not telling you that that's the better way to go. I really like the Dillon cover. It's very, very nice. It's just pricey. And I understand that. That's all right. So just think about it, price it out, kind of look and see what you want to do. If you've got a wife that's really good with a sewing machine, you really might come out way ahead. And she actually may have some canvas or something laying around that you can do that and have no cost out of pocket. So something to think about again. All right, so let's go to really our wants, some items that will make things easier, okay? Now, the first on the list, and this isn't by any stretch of the means what I feel is the most important or the least important, it's just the items. The first item is a powder cover, okay? They make a powder cover that will be airtight. And the reason they do that is because there's occasion where you're gonna fill this up, you're gonna work for a little while, and then you're gonna need to stop and then come back the next day. I wouldn't leave it a couple of days, but that's something that does happen. So you can find them on eBay, where it's a cover that pops on there. It's got an O-ring on it, and you can close it or open it to let air in. So, and that's pretty cheap. Now I know Dillon is actually coming out with one. I'm not sure that it's out yet. I think it is. I didn't find it on the website, but something to look at and something to think about if there are times where you don't get to finish off your loading all at once. Then the other thing, still staying with the powder, is a powder buzzer, okay? And it's a cap that goes on that's got a little steel rod in it. It floats down here. When it gets to a certain point, and you can set that, it sets off a buzzer and goes, buzz. Dillon makes this. It's a great product. I don't use it because I'm watching my powders. And I know that some people just get into it and they go and they don't think about that. But it is a nice little indicator to have. I just don't use it and never really found a need for that. But something to look at and something that you might want. It definitely makes a difference, and it makes sure that you don't run out and you have some cases that you've got to go through and find out if there's actual powder in them or not. Okay? So then the other thing that I actually made is a weight for the primer, okay? And the primer tube. And you're gonna go, well, why do you need a weight? Well, this isn't really weighted very much. And you'll see in the video, and I'll put it in there, that I actually weighed this. And there are occasions where you might have a primer that isn't perfect, and it can get hung up in here. Now, I've noticed it more on the large pistol primers than I have the small, but I still feel it's super important to have a little bit more weight on this. So what I did, and I've got the pictures here, is I took a spent case off of one of my 45s, and then I took a 45 bullet, and I actually put epoxy in there, and I epoxied it together. And so I'll bring this up. And that's what it looks like. And so the great part about the 45 ACP is it just slides right on top. And so that adds quite a few more grams to your weight to help make sure if there's a primer that's not exactly perfect, it gets pushed down. Now, hopefully you'll catch that and when you go to load it, because it's gonna, when you push up and it seats that primer, if that primer isn't perfect, sometimes it gets a little harder to do that, and you should be able to pick that out really quick. So, but for me, I do that on all my different Dillons here, because I feel it's super important to be able to have just a little bit of extra weight. And it's something I did a while back. It's very, very easy. You take the spent ACP 45 case. It was cleaned already. I took a little epoxy, put the epoxy on there, put the bullet on top of it, and I let it sit for about 12 hours. And it gives you just enough weight to push that down and keep them from hanging up. And you can take it off if you want to. So another one of those things that, you know, is it a want? Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a want, it's not a need. But you'll find out if you do it enough that probably really will slide over to the need category. Then the other thing is, and I took a picture of it earlier, is the powder knob, okay? Now the powder knob I have on this has a little sticky thing on it that says positive or negative on it. And I'll have a picture showing. Probably isn't the best. I bought this knob for my other loaders and I just moved it over to this one. There are a lot of different powder knobs made out there on eBay, and I'll show you a few as we're talking. They look very, very nice. They've got arrows for plus and minus. They've got little ridges on it, and it makes it easier to turn and to dial that number in for your powder. So think about that. Is that something that is a need? You can still use your wrench to do that, but for me, I think the knob makes it a little bit easier and quicker, and it's just a little more precise, and it's not big and bulky like the tool is. So something to think about. Not a big expense, but something to think about. Okay. Then, you know, I really have to go to the tool holders. You know, I don't use a tool holder on this product. I've got a tool holder here and a tool holder here. So I can get to any of the tools I need to work on this one. And I don't think it's a huge need, but it's something a lot of people like to do. And it fits on the back here, and it looks nice, but again, for the money, do I really need it? And very seldom do I need it because I've got one on each of these other machines. So I'm pretty much covered on that. The other thing is an LED light. And although this is not bad like the 650, 750, and the 900 behind me, the cavity is pretty open and you can see in there, but I will be putting a light in here because it just does make it a little easier to see what's going on. So the LED light is something that I definitely want, and I will do, and I'll do a video on how I do that. But to me, it makes it so much cleaner. You can see it, and you don't have any big mistakes with the LED lights. Now you got to be looking at it, and you got to be working with it, but it's pretty cheap to do and very, very easy to do. So something that you might think about. I'll do the video on that. It's parts that you can buy off of Amazon. It's really quick and easy. The other thing is little tabs that come for the little brass shell holders. And I'll take that up. Okay, it's a little plastic tab that sticks out in order for you to be able to pull these out easier. Sometimes they get to be kind of a pain in the butt to get out, especially if you've got a case in there. So that little plastic tab, they're cheap, makes your job a little bit easier. So I would definitely think about that. Look on eBay. It's on eBay and it works. I've got one on this machine and it works very, very well. So think about that. Really is something that is a want. It doesn't have to be a need. Okay, so the only other thing that I'd probably bring up for this one is you can, and this one, the knob unscrews here. You can change this knob out to be a little bit bigger, And sometimes that's a little bit easier because I've got a big hand. It's kind of easier to grab a big knob and it's a little more comfortable. Is it something you need? No, this works perfectly fine. So think about it, play with it a little bit. But when you order, think about the definite needs, not the wants. Think about the needs, because the case holder and the bullet tray, those are definitely something that you want to add when you purchase. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you'll subscribe, and I'm hopeful that this is good information for you and you'll keep coming back. And if you'll click on that like, it doesn't cost you anything, but it sure helps me getting my videos out to other people. So, hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. And if there's any questions, feel free to leave a comment down there and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I don't look at it every day. I look at it every 2 or 3 days. So when you put it down there, don't wig out if I'm not back to you in 15 minutes. Hey, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later on.